3, 2, 1, go.
Right then, welcome back to Howson IRL. Ste and Howson, Janine Howson, in real life.
You're so dry. Okay, carry on.
What?
Gee, I knew you were going to be like this. Right, what have we been up to?
All sorts.
I hate you sometimes. Switzerland. Let's talk about Switzerland first.
Okay, so we've got Switzerland to talk about. We've got Turkey to talk about.
You've got Turkey to talk about.
We've got our inability to book a holiday to Cornwall.
Yeah.
Amy, can you look after a dog?
Your inability.
Can you actually look after a dog?
No, yeah.
You can? Well, that's that solved. Sweet. Next question.
You need to be paying her extra.
Well, she will be.
But I didn't sign up for this.
Can you look after a deaf 17-year-old dog?
As long as it doesn't die.
No, he's robust.
There's not a lot of promises on that front.
He's
It's coming
still
soon.
going. The way he keeps falling over, probably, yeah.
All right, cool. So Cornwall's booked. I'll explain to everyone, including Amy, because it's the first she's heard of this. So our designated dog sitter is my mum, right? I booked a campsite in April, being so on the ball for me to book a 4-month out. We're not going till August, right? Booked a campsite in April, Cornwall. Because I thought, last week of August, red hot, perfect, right? Last week of the 6-week holidays. It hasn't been recently,
No,
but
we'll
I don't
get
know.
all the heat now and nothing then.
Yeah, probably. So it probably won't be red hot. But that's what I thought anyway. That was my motivation. Booked it, sorted. Forgot to ask my mum. My sister has booked in 2 separate, because she's got a dog as well.
Yeah, but your sister is like way worse than you. She had everything, every day in summer holidays booked in January for her kids.
Yeah, knowing
and
what.
dog
Yeah,
and
not
everything.
necessarily what. Yeah, she just knows what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
So then, when we realised this, we was like, "Oh, mum, I can't change it because the campsite we go to just gets booked up." The way I'm moving it around, there was one other week we could have moved it around. She's going Alton Towers, and then there's also my mum's got a 1940s party booked in April. What else was there? Oh, Oasis. That
Oasis. Yeah.
was in August. Sorry. So there was no other weekend for it, and I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do here. We was debating whether or not I drive down separate or it was a shit show.
What have you learned from it?
What have I learned? Ask Amy first.
No.
Oh.
Ask your mum first.
All right. Yeah, get in there first with mum. Yeah, maybe.
You rubbish, you.
Yeah, all right, cool. So, at least Cornwall's booked. Productive.
Okay.
What else was there?
That was it. Switzerland we're talking about.
All right, cool.
Moving on.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Thank you very much.
No problem.
It was my 40th birthday present. That's all I wanted. Something for Blake, wasn't it? So where she won't get bored and just go, because you probably heard her on the Switzerland walking vlog, just how much she natters on. So trying to keep her entertained, which
There's
there
no
was.
off button, is there?
There was a lot of entertainment for her.
To be fair, yeah, it was. It was a kids' hotel, which has got the potential to be an absolute bin fire, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's not like Disney Kids Hotel. It's.
I don't think you could pay
nice.
me to go to Disney. I'll be honest with you.
I don't think I could. No, not after what I've seen and heard the prices. Mind you, Switzerland prices aren't that much further away.
I think Disney would still be
Do you reckon?
outrageously more expensive, yeah, and it just
Probably.
doesn't seem fun to me.
We'll ask Katie when she's been.
Yeah, Disney. It's just honestly like hell on earth, because it's like Vegas but louder somehow.
Hotter.
Way more mobility scooters, right?
So whiny kids in that heat.
Entitled little shits as well. You know it is because they've all been took to Disney.
Okay.
It is, isn't it?
I don't know.
It 1,000,000% is. And then deluded adult babies. Oh, my Disney princess. You're 45, Sandra. Shut the fuck up. How about that? Fucking tiara off. Like a dickhead.
I know a few adults that go without
I
kids.
know you do.
Without kids.
All right, they need to be on Operation U-Tree, don't they then? Let's be honest with ourselves.
What's that?
What do you mean? Google it.
I don't want to Google it.
Google Operation U-Tree. I can't believe you don't
I've
know
not got
this.
internet
You're not
down
part of
here.
football in Twitter.
I don't go on Twitter. And then the odd time that I do, I regret it and read things about Donald Trump and just think that was a mistake going on there. Like how I found out that Donald Trump, completed World War II all on his own, just a single man. Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I guessed so much.
Anyway, so what were we talking about?
I don't know. Donald Trump.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Donald Trump. Operation U-Tree. That
Yeah.
wasn't on my bingo card for today, I don't think. Anyway.
No. So, back to Switzerland. What
Yeah.
did it have?
What did it have?
Yeah.
Mountains and goats.
Mountains for us. The goats for Blake.
Yeah, to be fair, we went to Martian Hotel, which I think means merchant hotel in German.
Did you speak any German while we were there?
Negative.
I did
it's
all right.
It's embarrassing.
I tried.
It's embarrassing how little. Like you go into a random shop, and I look like a Hitler Youth poster. Let's be honest with myself, right? They just start speaking in German to you. No, sprechen Sie Deutsch. And then they hit you with French, and you're like, oh, none of that either. And then what else is there? They're Italian. Switzerland's got like 5 languages. Don't speak any of them. English is one of them, but it's the 5th.
When we arrived, though, you looked so scared when she started talking to you in a language you didn't know, and you're like, I've just got off the plane, I don't know what's going on.
It's embarrassing. Honestly, it is embarrassing. I wish I knew more languages. I really do.
Just make it easy for us, though, doesn't it? Like, just to become complacent because everyone's already on it. We're so far behind.
What, in terms of everyone speaks English?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. But it
It gives us that lazy thing, like, well, what's the point? Everyone does it anyway.
Yeah, it's not good though, is it?
That's why I wanted to learn sign language, which I've given up on. Amy's over there, like, flying the flag on her own.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I did about 2 months and I forgot it all now because I've not continuously done it. But I was really into it. I liked it.
I know one.
Go on. Do you know that one, Amy?
The most popular one, honestly.
Means bullshit.
Well done.
So if I ever see it, I'll be like, eh. Anyway, so yeah, Switzerland had mountains. They had everything that you expect Switzerland's got. It's like they went all over to the right-hand side of the chart on the AI parameters. It is beautiful, isn't it? It's a beautiful gaff. It's a spendy gaff.
Where we went, though, it was like Sound of Music, wasn't it?
Yes.
When you hear those like cowbells jingling
Can't
away
move
and
from.
goats just roaming around with a bell on, you're like, wondering who that one belongs to.
Well, the town, Brownwald, where we were staying in, it's a no-car town, which I think they're bending the rules a little bit because everyone's got like a little John Deere tractor kind of thing kicking about, haven't they? So there is no cars, and there's a whole little display in there about how they built it all, basically flying it up in helicopters.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, no wonder everything's Deere.
And on the vernacular train.
Yeah, there's a lot of them cutting about in there on the trains. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's a place I wouldn't mind going back to. I'd love to through hike through it, spend a few weeks there, do a day or two in each one, do 10, 15 mile a day or something like that. You can't do that with a 6-year-old who don't shut up though.
I don't know how you make it cheap though either, because a lot of people question London to Manchester on the train. What was it like? Cornwall to Zurich. And someone told us, well, you asked ChatGPT, is
Obviously.
it worth going to Zurich? Yeah, it is. However, on Sunday, the fashion shops aren't open. So, okay, well, we'll make do because we haven't seen anything yet. No, nothing was open. Nothing. Not just fashion shops. I think we went in one shop and found a restaurant because you needed toilet.
Yeah. And that, I think it cost us 88 quid for, I had a sausage, Blake had a sausage, did you have a BLT?
Yeah.
And an apple juice, 88 quid.
And what was the train fare for an hour and a half, was it?
250 something.
For all three of us. There and back to see nothing.
But But we did go to Zurich. Didn't see cock all over there, like, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole of Switzerland shuts down on a Sunday.
And then we said, is it worth going to, what was the next town over from Brunwald? Linthal. Yeah, go to Linthal, see what it's got. Cafes
and waterfall and the quietest place on earth.
Yeah. Capital of
literally
people.
Nobody, no people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's quiet in there, but this was quiet. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely would like to go back, but I think maybe hiking and it'd probably be pretty cheap if you hiked and stayed in a tent, and then maybe just ate when you needed to in some of the cafes or whatever. But
you're still getting rinsed if you do that.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the scenery and the mountains, absolutely sensational, wasn't it? Like, genuinely, like, I don't know what it is about cameras, phones especially. You see some amazing sights. Oh wow, look at that! Oh, fuck off! Like, there's not, your phone just hasn't got a clue how to capture what you can see in front of you. Like, it looks so much better when you're there. Maybe that's the sell, is that what you see on YouTube, if it looks mega on YouTube, oh my god, get there now, because it'll knock your cock off if you get there and see it in real life. Because is it like some of the places, like even like Nevada, some of the places that we went to over there, you go, oh my goodness, and then you pull your phone out and you go, I'm not even going to post that, because it does not look anything like, even Mamtor. You're trying to take a picture of Mamtor, you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, I think you need to get a drone up there for it to actually.
Why is that? Why is like scenery just does not translate to cameras at all? Because it's like it's a 1 out of 10 in it. It's genuinely like completely takes all the shine out of it.
That's probably why when people get into hiking, they actually get into it once they've done one. Because anyone who's said to him, oh, let's go on a hike, it's really fun, you're like,
I'll show you this.
Nah.
And you go.
Yeah. You have to actually go and experience something.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the visuals that you see with your eyes can't be replicated. They just can't. I don't know why. I'd love to know why. It just does not look anywhere near as impressive through your phone. Even when you're there and you're taking a picture and you're going.
Well, I think as well for Switzerland, it's got all the gondolas and the trains that go up the hills for you. So it does appeal to kids, I think, as well, that, doesn't it? It's like going on a ride for him. That's how we sell it to Blake anyway. Yeah,
and like I said, that hotel was, I didn't realise quite how much of a kid's hotel that was until we got there.
I knew there was a lot to do for them, but it was like in a nice way, because in the morning, every morning at 10:30, they'd get up and feed the animals. So there was llamas, alpacas, goats.
She loved the little
chickens.
Pygmy goats, didn't she?
Yeah. So you go out and feed the animals, collect the eggs from the chickens, and then we'd have the eggs for breakfast, and they'd serve them up, wouldn't they? But just all the random stuff that they had, like...
She's walking past, she's like, that goat's called... I can't remember what they were called. I'm like, how does she know this?
Yeah. They served the milk in the morning, didn't they, out of a big cow udder. And a cow that was humongous, like the Manchester cows that you see all around, that thing that they did campaign. Yeah, the Urban Splash Manchester cows. It was just a big one of those, and you just switch on its udder and you get your milk from it.
Yeah, I'm going to see if we can get one of those for the office.
No. Wouldn't shock me, that.
For rum.
Like when you tried to... when you tried to carry that, was it you that carried that cow up to our apartment?
It wasn't me, no, I didn't know I did that. I've still got the letter.
Is that still the story? Is that still the story?
What do you mean, is that still the story? That is the story. I don't know who did it.
Okay.
I did some fuckery in that apartment. It weren't me that did the cow.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
What a sentence. Do you want to tell the audience? We
used to live in an Urban Splash apartment. It was mega, wasn't it?
It was nice.
You what?
It was nice, not the price, but yeah.
No, it was dear, but it was mega. We went to look at a studio, didn't we? A studio apartment, not
a bedroom.
Yeah, like literally, because that was all we could afford. And they take you to the penthouse. What a shit idea that was. And they took us to a penthouse and were like, this one's for sale, it's not for rent, because we were looking at rent. So you can't have it. And then they took you around the rest of it, and I was at least anyway, so disappointed with the rest of it all. They took us in like 2 or 3, and they were like, yeah, you can't afford these. and here's the one that you can afford. And honestly, the one we could afford, it was fucking this big, weren't it? It was like...
It was a raised platform for a bed, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a bed in the corner, and then your kitchen appliances and fridge are over there, and there's your door, and there's a window.
Some of them had those pigeon stairs, didn't they, where you can't run up and drunk because they're like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lovely place. All Smeg appliances and stuff like that. It was the bollocks. But the one that I went in thinking I could afford, they fucking sold me one that was more than twice what we could afford, and we took it, didn't we? Because we're dicks. I think they shown us around the penthouse one, and then I emailed him being like, well, why don't you just rent me that one?
Yeah.
And they did in the end. And because it was Urban Splash, they had them fucking big plastic cows. We're talking 15 years ago, aren't we? A little bit more. They had all those cows they were all over town, if anyone's old enough to remember them.
I think the one at our apartment had a big barcode on it, didn't it? A black and white
There's a couple, there's a red one as well. I think there's a couple dotted around the complex. So it was an old mill. It was called the Old Mill. What was it called, the Old Mill?
No, you just made that up.
It's called the Mill. The Mill.
Yeah.
The Mill, right. So it's all like exposed it was fucking lovely, wasn't it? Exposed brick, like mega thingy. And these fucking big cows, like literally a full-size like plastic cow. Well, we had parties because we were young and going out was a good laugh at the time. And our friends are knobs, so...
No, your family, I believe it was.
It happened more than once.
It
happened more than once. So we had a party, and the cow ended up on the landing outside our apartment.
But we didn't have a lift, so you had to take it
Up
2 flights.
Yeah, 3 flights.
Yeah.
So I opened the door in the morning, and there's a full-size plastic barcode cow, like right there, and I just went, shut the fucking door again.
But
then you got a complaint. Yeah, you got a complaint. Obviously, we got a complaint from the landlord. Was like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, mate.
We blamed it over the road, didn't we?
Yeah, there was 2 lads that lived opposite us, wasn't there? But they were dicks anyway. They was on the smash all the time anyway. So it was clearly our party. But I was like, yeah, you got CCTV. Have a look who fucking did it. I don't know who did it. But they scratched all the stairs, didn't they, coming up? So they tried to bill us for it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then they found out that we had a dog. We weren't supposed to have a dog.
No. I mean, it was only for a month, about 6 weeks or so, wasn't it, before we moved out? That's diesel, that. How long ago that was? 2008, that was. Fucking hell, that was a long time ago.
Boy.
So yeah, there was several shenanigans. I've got some photos somewhere of some family members.
On the cows?
On the cows, yeah. Katie and Vicky and Becky. Fucking riding the cow.
Who well hard to get on top of as well. You had to get
it's
a leg
full-size fucking cow. like you go, how big's a massive, proper big. These big plastic fucking cows. And I'm sure there was like 3 or 4 of them all around the complex.
I reckon that's where they've got them from, in Switzerland.
Imagine.
Had it imported.
They were on eBay. Funny if it was. Because there was tons of them. There was all over Manchester when Urban Splash was. I mean, it must still be a thing, mustn't it?
Urban Splash?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know the last sort of... They were doing bits, weren't they, for a while, but I don't know much about them anymore.
Yeah.
It was a nice place, though. I like that. I did like that place. We had... It was the penthouse, wasn't it? So it was a big fucking apartment. But the bathroom was like embedded into the middle of the... so you had like a living room here, and then like the bathroom was internal, like its own little enclosed island with all of the kitchen stuff sort of like bolted onto the back of it. So you could do laps of like the front room into the kitchen all the way around. Jaden was 2 at the time, and he... I remember him. He had this little poncho, a little boxing poncho, like Ricky Hatton did. And I remember him just running round.
Was he singing?
Ricky Hatton.
Was it?
Ricky Hatton. Running around the thing.
Back when he was popular.
Yeah. When he still fought then, didn't he?
Yeah.
He stopped fighting after a bit. But yeah, I remember him doing that. Just his little feet slapping on the floor. And then Diesel, little puppy Diesel. Not that big. Diesel used to... so it had underfloor heating, didn't it? And he's not changed because he's the same now.
It's currently in the loft baking
If there's any heat, he's fucking all over it. And what he used to do is we used to have like a throw on one of the sofas, and he used to take the throw off. It was only when he was a puppy. It must have spent him all day to do this. He used to pull the throw off, and then like nest himself inside the blanket underneath the sofa with all the underfloor heating. It must have been fucking baking in there.
That's how they like it though, isn't it?
Yeah, he's literally not changed. Like 16, 17 years later, he's just exactly the same. Just anywhere there's heat and squish, he's all about it, innit? Getting out bed. What else are we going to talk about? I know we've got some questions.
Your trip to Turkey, you've just come back, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
that video's in the process of being edited, so we've not posted it yet. So if you've asked any questions on that, this comes out after that, so we're not going to see your questions yet.
I thought you'd be sunning it up, having a nice little time
honest,
around the pool.
I did expect a little bit of that myself. Wasn't necessarily how they pitched it, but I did think kind of I had spa vibes.
What happened, Stephen? Tell us about your trauma.
I was going to say I got probed, but I don't remember doing that, so it didn't happen. But I did get cleaned out.
Lovely.
So,
literally.
Yeah, they give you medication. I mean, absolutely recommend doing it. Absolutely recommend doing it. However, let's be real about it. It's not the loveliest experience. So they give you some medication. I think it's like a dozen tablets and 3 bottles of solution.
This for the colonic.
Yeah, man. Well, for the colonoscopy. And endoscopy. Endoscopy?
Yeah.
So clearly they don't want to be putting mud flaps on when going inside you. They want it all nice and like showroom fresh. So you have to take, what are you laughing at? So you have to take all this medication to empty you out. And then I spent like 36 hours just like trying to breathe in really shallowly, because anything that I breathed in a little bit strong, shit myself. And it wasn't super fun time. It was about every 11 minutes throughout the night. It was horrendous.
And then didn't they give you a really attractive nurse at the end of it?
Yeah, fittest nurse you've ever seen, right? And there's zero foreplay about her whatsoever. Nothing. She was just like, roll over onto your side. Bosh. With like a bottle of water for an enema.
And then you liked it so much you asked for another.
So she did twice. What she meant to say to me was, when you go to the toilet, because it's immediately like deli belly, like immediately like, oh, just like, I need to go to the toilet right now. Immediately. She said, you need to hold it for 5 minutes. I'm going to do 37 seconds and then I'm going to the toilet. How about that? How's that sound? So she hits me with 2 enemas, immediately just like genuinely rumbly stomach. What she meant to tell me was, do not flush. They have to check to make sure it's clean before you. She didn't tell me that. So I've flushed it. I'm going to not flush the toilet. And then she comes in, she's like, sorry, I meant to say don't flush.
Gotta do it again. Sounds like you had a really good time.
But then it doesn't just end. I mean, the actual colonoscopy part, they put you to sleep for it. So that's fine. And they put the, is it injection and the nasal thing? It's kind of like, you're going to go sleep, count to 10. By 2, you're like, gone completely. And then I just wake up. And I woke up and that same nurse there, I'm like, has it been done? She's like, yeah. And you're like, wow. Like, it's...
Yeah, it shocked me how, like you said, you sent me a photo saying that I've come round now, he was all awake and everything, and then like an hour later I think you sent me all your results in a text message. I'm like, jeez. Like, NHS, you're waiting for 2 weeks if you ever get a letter or a phone call.
Yeah. You was getting some results as you was going, and some results was a little bit, like, tomorrow. But yeah, by and large, all clear on everything.
Good news.
Yeah. Interesting on the brain scan.
I think we all knew the result of that.
So we're going through everything. So so if anyone's interested, go check out the video because we've already posted it. But it's Memorial Hospital in Istanbul. It's the one that like everyone saw. All of those social media where the girl goes, it's that one. It's
I've
the
not
same.
seen
Have you not seen it?
No.
It was all over TikTok. It was all over Instagram. Where she's like, it's like a spa. It's not like a spa. It is like a hospital, and you're doing a bit of work. To be honest with you, it's quite full on. But you're either there for 1 day, 2 day, or 3 days, depending on which one
Did
that
she
you
go
do.
for a colonoscopy though?
I think she only did the 1 day thing.
Well, it
So
would
she
be
was
like
in
a
and
spa
out
for
in a
her.
day.
wouldn't she? I don't think she was on the toilet most of it.
Mine was 3 days, obviously, so it was pretty full on, and it was like full on all 3 days, really busy all 3 days, but did everything, like literally everything. It was like a full footballer's medical, internal. They ultrasounded my thyroid, my bladder, they checked your kidneys, your intestines. I had a CT scan on my lungs, I had an MRI scan on my brain, I had an ECG on my heart. Like, there's nothing else to check. Like, there's literally nothing else they could have checked. Everything. And obviously you get the results all the way through it. And then you sit down with a doctor who's going to explain what all of these results mean. The good cholesterol was down and the bad cholesterol was up. That's literally a side effect of TRT. There's not a lot I can do about that. My vitamin D was a little bit down, and that's fixable by 1 vitamin D tablet a day. Sweet. Fix that. And she's reading out all the results really fast, like lungs fine, this fine, colon fine, blah blah blah, this is fine, no cancer markers, no thingy markers, no, everything's fine. Then she gets to my brain, she puts it on the screen, she goes like this, and you're like, what was that? And during that little awkward silence, I went, I've had quite a few concussions. And she went, I can tell.
Explains a lot.
Jesus. So I said, is this a drama? And she went, no, it's not a drama. She's like, don't actively seek out more. Okay. She's like, no, it's not a drama. She goes, but, you can see. I'm like,
No, you couldn't see anything.
I can't see shit. I'm going to be honest with you. She's like, yeah, you can see. She goes, I'm going to say the word damage, but when people associate that with brain damage, she goes, it's not, but there's obviously, you've lived a life.
A blemish.
Yeah. And I was like, cool. She's like, what did you do? And, oh, what?
Which time?
What was the concussions? I was like, well, I was in the army. I did combat sports. I played rugby.
Getting fight on a Saturday.
Yeah. It's just, just a normal amount of brain damage.
I don't think I've got any. I can't remember one instance where I might have got some.
Never been knocked out?
No.
Well, we can fix that.
Can't say I have. Even accidentally, when you threw Blake up in the air and she hit her head on the ceiling when she was a baby.
No.
That happened.
It was tiny little
I can't
bit
say
of...
my parents ever did that to me.
Jaden, I fucking cleaned out once, right? This explains probably all sorts. So, when you've got a toddler and it's a pretty new kid and you're new to the parenting game, I didn't have him that much either. You think when he was like 18 months or something like that, I'd been away. So I'm probably still only like 30, 40 nights in with him. Like, he's still fucking brand new, still got a sticker on everything as far as I'm concerned as a parent. Like, not an experienced parent. And I needed something out of my car. And I went with mum and dad's and I'm like, what do we do? Not going to a tapas bar around the corner.
I don't even want to know what you're going to say.
So I've gone like, right, what I'll do is, realistically, I should have just picked him up and gone out to the car. Didn't think of that, obviously. So I've run out to the car, and I've run back in the house, and as I've opened the door, it's fucking splattered him. He's behind the door, wasn't he? And I've gone, bosh! And he's basically hit the opposite wall. Oh, fuck. He's crying, obviously. You know what I mean? I think it's part of a dad's job is traumatic brain injury on those toddlers.
Well, they've now got one each, so it's even, isn't it?
It's personality building.
I'd like to think you learned from the first one, but clearly not.
I've not splattered Blake with a door. That's
You
fucking
threw him
really
into the
once.
ceiling.
No, I didn't. She
You were trying to
brushed her
make her
head
laugh,
across
to
the
be
ceiling.
fair, but
She was being soft.
she's not soft.
It was barely concussion. I don't think she got a concussion. She just banged her head. You can't bang a kid's head nowadays. The game
No.
done gone.
They've got a soft spot.
Oh, it was fine. So yeah, Turkey. Spent 36 hours on the shitter. Got violated with a water bottle. But all good job. All
you
cleared.
recommend it?
Would I recommend it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I'm
whole
going to say
thing.
you're not going to enjoy the medication side of the colonoscopy, but as blokes, and it's actually quite serious. You know, obviously everyone knows my best mate Ben. He lost his dad. I think it was to colon cancer. If not, it was in the ballpark. And I know Ben has to have that really regularly. He was like, enjoy that. And I told him, oh, they put me away. He's like, they don't. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they are. And if you're doing it in the UK, you've got to be awake for it. See, that's not good, is it? Because what if you make eye contact? What if you like it? You know what I mean? So, yeah, being asleep for it was all good.
How much was it?
Well, mum was content, so mum's gifted.
Yeah, I know. But if someone wants to
do
do
it,
this,
the full package is £2,800. I actually think that's pretty good value for what you get. The amount of tests that you get, I think is very good value.
yeah, I think if you're someone who's very worried about your health and you just always like thinking one way or another, just go get everything done at the same time, put your mind at ease.
But there's nothing there's nothing that you could check on me anymore. Like they've literally. I'm trying to think, like, what about like tropical diseases or something like that? And you're like, that'd have probably shown up on the blood work, wouldn't it? I'm trying to think, is there any, like, I'm just trying to look
Depends
at the
what
gaps.
markers they're looking for.
Is there any angles? I don't think there's any angles, because it was a full cancer screening for every flavour of it, and the blood work and all of the organs, because that's where you get it, innit? You get it in your organs.
What
generally.
about stuff like breast cancer though? Because men can get that. Like they want to check for that.
But I think that shows up as a blood marker. I think when you've got
But
cancer,
why
it shows
are
up in your
women
blood.
going to have the boob flattened as soon as they get to a certain
right,
age
yeah.
when it shows up in you?
Cancer.
So you see, no, there will be stuff that you can still have checked.
Maybe, but it
But I
didn't.
bet you could have asked for that. Should you have
probably,
wanted to?
I mean, yeah, but I did an eye test. Did literally.
Did your TRT again, didn't you? Just to...
Well, I think they checked it as a matter of course in your blood
Yeah.
work. But like, yeah, there's nothing that I could think of that you would go, well, did you check that? Everything was checked.
They were quite good with you as well, weren't they? Where they said, "Is there anything else you want to do while we're here?"
Yeah. Mention my calf. But yeah, like literally, it's everything. It's a very, very, very comprehensive kind of test, and I think, as I said in the video, which obviously you lot haven't seen yet, going into it, you're thinking, well, I've abused my body, whether it's with rum, with pizza, or Red Bull, or traumatic brain injury, like for 40 years, realistically. You know, there's got to be some. I thought something would be broken. Something would require something on the backside. And now everything's good. So it's a nice little green light to go kick bananas now.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think that's literally what they said, actually. Just fucking do
No,
whatever
they
now,
didn't.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
No, they didn't. You got to look after yourself because you're over 40 now.
I do think, though, pretty lucky that I didn't give myself diabetes. I just know you can reverse some certain parts of it with diet and that anyway, but like,
Red Bull.
I don't know how I was having Red Bull, literally having Red Bull for breakfast. Full fucking sugar Red Bulls for breakfast.
I don't know how you managed to avoid
For
that.
a decade.
Yeah. I don't know how you've got any teeth left.
Yeah, and also what I did do was obviously put it in ChatGPT, because clearly all of the historical blood work that I've had for the last 4 years, which is pretty much every quarter, there's only a couple that I've missed, so there's only 6 month gaps at most. every single quarter's blood results that I've had. So I think is it the H1B C2, some shit like that. Basically, it's your pancreas's marker, and that's the one that's basically like your diabetes marker. And I flung it in because some of them tests, I was having a Red Bull on the way, and you're supposed to be fasted for your blood test, really. But I was like, well, I'm fasted. I'm only having a Red Bull.
Dirty fast.
Yeah. So like that was me going into those thingies with that. I should have been off the charts with my blood sugars. And it wasn't, even historically, it was fine. So like my insulin sensitivity would have just been Champions League level somehow. I don't know how.
Did they do your B12?
Would have been, yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember it being on the list. But that's one that a lot of people seem to be diagnosed with, like having low B12, so they go for the injections or have supplements to try and maintain it. But the amount of B12 we were getting in Red Bull, it makes you wonder, like, what had happened in that. Like 7 Red Bull a day or something. Yeah.
But yeah, mad interesting, and obviously Memorial approached us and asked us if we'd be interested in doing it, and I
you jumped at it.
Yeah, genuinely was. Yeah, like I'm in a good spot where I only have to work with people that I want to work with at the moment, and like I absolutely did want to do that. Yeah, and I know a lot of you guys have reached out. This before the video comes out as well, so like so many people wanted to know how it went in my DMs, and the amount of people asking me where to go and do it, would I recommend it, all that sort of stuff. I absolutely would. Yeah, the facilities were world class. The hospital is world class. It's not cheap, but I think it is cheap. Like the dollar amount is quite a lot for for 3 days, but I beg you to try and get that in the UK or America, and come close to that.
Sounds good value to me. When you think that people, like what we just spent on Switzerland, I know it was my 40th, but you like saw the hotel and were like, Jesus. But it's just the same thing, but you've got a full health checkup. So why would people spend that on a holiday, but you won't spend it on looking after yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and I went, what was there, Tuesday to Saturday morning, something like that.
You don't have to have a colonoscopy and drink all that stuff. You could chill by the pool for the rest of the day.
Or you could do a week. And you could get 4 days.
Enjoy a bit of it.
Yeah, and you probably could do that. Whereas obviously we was in and out, and I probably could have stayed a couple of days and done that, but we had the Player of the Year awards on the Saturday night. I literally chose a flight that made me get up at 3:30 in the morning to get back, so we was back for the Player of the Year awards. But I think if you did do a week, 10 days, and 3 days of that is at the hospital getting your checkup done, and then 5 or 6 days where you've gone and had a bit of a holiday, because the weather was ledge. I just didn't get to see much of it. I had about an hour by the pool.
And if everyone chooses to pay that you said, because they said you could make it all inclusive, didn't they?
They do have an option for that, yeah. So in the brochure that I saw, there is an option where I think they've got a deal with one of the airline companies, so they get a good deal on your flights for you. And then I think they can sort out, I think they used 2 hotels, I think he said, while we were there. The one that I stayed at, which is the Paulette Renaissance, and another one down the road.
And everyone gets picked up in a car like that and ferried about.
Yeah, they're ledge, them cars, by the way.
That's what you want, isn't it? If you're having some procedures done, you don't want to have to worry about
Uber
this, that, and the other.
No. Yeah, and yeah, like the staff are all over you. There's a load of interpreters and stuff like that. Yeah, genuinely, like, I think my mum and dad should go and do it, to be honest with you. I mean, my dad's 65. Smoked, probably for
don't know if
about
you get your dad
years.
doing that, to be honest.
Maybe. He should, though. Because there was things that was like niggling in the back of my head that I know is good to go.
Yeah, but this isn't like you're fine forever.
Wrong.
No.
It's exactly what it is.
You might want to go again, when you're 50.
No,
Another
there was
checkup or
there was
something?
some at that. There was a 7mm. I can't remember the name of what it was. I did send it to you. What it was? It's not a growth. It's not.
On your liver
yeah.
abscess.
Was it an abscess?
I think that's what you told me, unless you.
I can't remember the word that they used, but there's like it's got water in it, so it's not it is a lifestyle scar or like side effect, but it's not an issue. If it's hard, it's an issue. It's not. It's got water in it, so it's not an issue. But they were like, maybe keep an eye on that. So at some point, I'll have to go and do another scan on that to see where we're at with that. But yeah.
There was something quite interesting about your heart, wasn't it? From going from being 100 pound heavier to now.
No, not necessarily because of that. So I've got a fit heart. Like even when I was fat, I had quite a low resting heart rate for a fat guy. It's down in the low 50s now, and I'm trying to get it into the 40s, which is it's athletic. Is where you want it. You want it as low as possible. I have left ventricular hypertrophy, which is thickening of the left-hand side of my heart, aka athlete's heart. Why is it called that? Well, it's a trained heart. It's a heart that's...
so does this come from like
it's
years of rugby, army?
It's by being... It's having a fit heart. So, and probably all the hiking I did do while I was overweight, it's even harder, isn't it, when you're overweight? You're carrying 2 Bergens. One on your belly and one on your back. I think the years of doing cardio, even though I was out of shape, and obviously the lifestyle that I led before I got out of shape, and a little bit of where I'm at now, I have a really strong heart, and it's enlarged on one side, which is the left side, which is the pumping side. And they said it's not an issue. It is a trained heart. Your heart is a muscle. You've worked it. It's a trained heart. Don't get fat again though.
Because?
Well, that might be more strain to go on it, especially with
if you cope the first time. I'm not saying I want you to get fat, but what's different?
It's having the if you get visceral fat around your organs, that's when things get a bit tricky. So you don't want that fat around your organs because that's what makes things struggle to be able to work as hard. But yeah, it's left ventricular hypertrophy, aka athlete's heart. But again, that was one of the things where I was like, what's this? Abnormal.
You always, like, on your Whoop stats, do tend to, like, look into the heart statistics a lot, don't you?
It tells me a lot, yeah.
Does that reflect any on what you can see on the Whoop? Did you, like, say, well, yeah, I tend to, like, even when I'm in bed, it's going 10 to the dozen when I'm just lying down? Like, did you speak to him about...
Only if I'm ill. So when I'm...
is that related, or...?
I don't know. Maybe because that I notice it that it's high. So if my heart rate's 100 and I'm not doing anything, well, that's a problem. But if you're unfit and your heart rate might just be 100 because you're unfit and your heart's having to pump that often to the thing. I pay attention to mine because if it's not in the 50s or 60s if I've overtrained a little bit, like my resting heart rate will be in the 60s if I'm so I had test flu this week, so that's something that we've not really spoken about in it before. So I've been injecting myself for 4 years with the TRT. If you cock it up, oh, shut up! Can Joe and all them not just come down here chatting absolute macker. Shut it. If you inject yourself wrong, when I'm doing my TRT dose, or sometimes a different brand, it gives me the flu for 2 days, which I did this week. And how do I see that? My HRV goes down, which is your heart rate variability, and my resting heart rate goes up. And that's, that'll put it into the 60s from being in the 50s typically. And I've been pretty good with it recently, but the last 2 times I've fucked up and made myself ill. And the injection site has murdered. Like, I could barely walk up the stairs this week with it. But yeah, so I do pay attention to my resting heart rate quite a lot.
So just going off the questions from the past podcasts, someone has asked where do you get your TRT levels checked? Which one do you recommend? Which brand do you recommend? Because you've obviously just said that some make you ill, some don't. So talk about that a bit.
The brands is whichever company that you're dealing with. So I work with a consultant for it. Manual, who sponsor my main channel, they will do tests, but they'll also do treatments as well. And there are other companies as well that will do the whole package for you, where you can get the test and then stay with them. I didn't do that because I wasn't when I first did it. I wasn't working with Manual or Newman, so I've had a consultant do it. So with the stuff I've done with Manual is I did their test. And so I'd recommend go do their test, but I haven't done the treatment with them, so I can't speak to what their treatment situation is like, but I do gather it's relatively straightforward, and it'll be the same process where you speak to a doctor, it's prescribed, it's a doctor that you speak to, and then for me it was bracketing it, and that's why you have to have a test. So you'll do a test. Oh, again, I'll speak to what my experience with it was. You do a test, they prescribe you, you then do it for about 60 days, either 1 or 2 injections a week, because that's how long it takes to sort of like get into your system and then have it settle. And then you try and catch it in the middle of your injections. So as you do an injection, obviously you don't want to go do a blood test 20 minutes afterwards, and you don't want to like leave it until it's out of your system. You want to make sure you're kind of in the middle. So I usually do one about 72 hours after I've had an injection, and that gives you a bit of a stable kind of level for where you're at. But it takes 3 months, and then you get the results back, and you go, oh, that's still a bit low. We're going to boost you up a little bit. And then, oh, that's still a bit low. Oh, we're going to boost you up a bit more. Oh, now it's a little bit high. And now we're going to go back again. So it's a bit of a faff to get the right sort of levels. But once you get the right levels, yeah, you just feel... You don't feel... It's like when people expect like... There's not like a pre-workout kind of vibe going on. You just feel normal. Which is such a bizarre thing to say. Like you feel... Like I don't feel anything. I don't feel charged up. I don't feel like... I just feel normal. Just normal.
That's the same with my thyroxine though. Like they'll say to me, well, we need a phone call with you because it's like dangerously low. You've not been taking your tablets. And then they go, oh, I would have thought you'd been crawling into the office. Like, no, I just can't tell that I've taken them or not taken them. But yeah, you take them not long enough, you'll start to see some stuff going on.
I asked on Insta for some questions. We've only got 2 so far. I did only do it just before we started. But yeah, so get the test done. I would recommend. I absolutely would recommend getting the test done because it is a very common thing, and it's genuinely game changing if you need it and you're not taking it. That was the other question.
That was the question.
There was 2, wasn't there?
What type of brands? But didn't you just kind of?
Oh yeah. So I couldn't say because it's different.
It's different for everyone.
Yeah, and there's literally some that make me ill. But there's some that I inject it and I get ill, and there's some that I don't. And the reason for that is I think it's called benzopropyl alcohol, which is the sort of carrier oil that they use, or something for the oil that they use. They also use rapeseed oil. BCT oil, is it? Like there's a ton of different oils that they put the testosterone in. You might be allergic to some of them. I might be allergic to some of them. Some of them literally make me fucking sick. So we've had vials that I've had. They've made me ill, and I've gone, I'm not taking that anymore. I get a new one, and then that one's okay. And then they're like, oh, we haven't got any stock of that one. We sent you this one, and you're like, oh, cool, that one makes me ill. Or you try it and you go, oh, I'll be all right this time. I think I know what the problem was, and then you don't, and then you fucking get ill again.
You can't return them because you've already opened the bottle.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But yeah, I would recommend getting a test for sure. Do you have another question? Was there?
It was more about with the last podcast with your weight loss and Janine's. So just a couple of questions that the viewers were we're asking.
All right, on the last podcast, there was a load of questions on the weight loss podcast, so Amy's going to read some out, and I'll just read them back out so you guys can hear them.
Yeah, so supporting someone you love through a tough time can take a toll. How did you manage your own emotions while being there for Ste? That's important to me.
So how did you manage your own emotions while being there for me?
I think I'm quite lucky, really, that I've got a lot of friends, and that I think when we came off the back of the podcast, I thought that probably is really lonely for someone who's just got husband and wife and don't really do anything. But I've always had like pole dancing or something with Laura, and then we moved on to line dancing after that. I've always had this escape where I can leave that at home and then go see my friends and talk it through. But I can't imagine like what it'd be like for someone who's just back and forward, like in a relationship and no other outlet.
I think that's a problem, and I think that's problematic across the board, though. I don't necessarily think you need any trauma. I think even just as a relationship that's going well, I think you've got to have...
But hobbies, you've always had a hobby, so if you don't want to speak to me about something, you can go talk to the footy lads. I don't know if you do, but I can't imagine it comes up in training, but should you want to, I bet there's someone around that you could pull aside. But if you're very much in that, you've got no hobbies, you just stay at home and, you know, it's babies, work life, come back, and then probably quite crippling, really, not to have anyone to...
Yeah, I think actually from a social point of view, I do a few things. I've always been... It's weird, this. I got told I was a social retard at weekend. I don't know if you can say that. That's what someone told me, though, so I'm just quoting what they said. That? I'll tell you after. And I'll tell you who it was after as well. And I said, I'm shy. And people don't expect me to be shy. But part of the reason why I'm shy is, one, I don't want to be like, oh, so that fucking Steve's dead fucking loud, and I'm not being that. And I do realise that I get clocked places when I go places, so I just fucking keep myself to myself. I don't need any new mates. So I just go do what I need to do and I leave. And I've never really been comfortable like working a room or something. Do you know, like, so maybe after a match.
A social butterfly.
No. After a paddock match or something like that, some people might have come. If you want to come and speak to me, come and speak to me. I am not just fucking coming over and speaking to you. That's not to say I don't want to, but I'm not gonna. So if you want to feel comfortable doing if you want to come and speak to me, I'll absolutely come and speak to you. And I'm really fucking grateful the amount of people that have travelled from the places that they've travelled to come and I genuinely am impressed. But I'm not fucking coming over without you coming and... No, like I said, I'm not going to fuck you off, but I ain't going... I'm not just going to, like... I've never seen that person before, let me go and fucking find out what they're all about. I ain't doing that. So I keep myself to myself. And the person that told me I was a fucking social retard was like, actually, now I spoke to you, you're not. But, like, I'm not...
Give off that vibe.
Yeah, people expect me, because I talk all day for a living, and, like, they see me on videos, they expect that I'm going to be, like, outgoing and forthright like that, and I'm not. I fucking sit there and be on my phone or something, like...
Yeah, I think sometimes you come home, don't you, after talking for so long on screen, and you just want everyone to leave you alone.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
But yeah, out in public. But what I do is I put myself out there and I go and do stuff. So I'll go to classes, whether it's jiu-jitsu or whether it's, like, at the moment I'm going to urban reform. I'll go to them classes. I fucking love, by the way, I love going to those places. They don't have a fucking clue what I do for a living. It's brilliant. I fucking genuinely love it. And then people, if they found out, because there has people been found out, oh, and by the way, I don't know if you're going to watch this, but there was a guy that, I'm going to grass him up now, fuck it. There was a guy that ended up in, you do these classes as, it's a couple of guys, couple of girls, whatever. And this guy ended up in my little 4-man team. And about halfway through, he went and threw up through in the fitness class. The fucking hard classes. Like, they are fucking hard classes. Like, I end up in a puddle of fucking sweat after him. This dude just fucked off halfway through. Came back. He said to the instructor, like, I've just been throw up, like. And then afterwards, we were having a stretch off. He comes up and he goes, I'm a big fan of your channel, and please don't tell anyone that I've just kind of thrown up.
So now you just told everyone.
I've waited about 6 weeks. That's fine, I think. But what I do is, I really enjoy the fact that no one has a fuck. Like, I do buzz off the fact that people come up to me like, all right, what's your name and what do you do? Because it is quite refreshing. It's a different audience, isn't it, I guess? It's not a football-y kind of crowd. But I do enjoy that. But I also I don't mind, and especially when they don't fucking have a clue who I am, I don't mind having a conversation with people about the class rather than oh, what about Hoyland Day?
I suppose that's a bit boring.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. So I don't mind that. But I do put myself out to go and meet new people, if you like, even though I don't need any new mates. But I don't mind that social interaction. And I do think that people actually really need that. I can see, especially with remote working and after lockdown and shit like that, I can see people
made people more introverted. I feel more introverted after lockdown. I wasn't particularly, really outgoing anyway, but I think I've got worse.
I know that the first football match I went to after lockdown, I was properly anxious going to it because of the crowd and the people, and it got weird. I'm all right with it now, but that first match after COVID, the first time they let us back into Old Trafford, it's 75,000 fucking people in there. I was on the verge of a panic attack with it, which is mental, because it's something I've done my entire life, going to this ground, and that one time, and it's like I said, it's fine after. I ended up getting drunk. I ended up just drinking. It was all right after that. But I actually needed to
Thing is though, you've got that not just at the football game though. People who go to the football game, just getting out your own head and having that. A lot of people don't do that. People don't have interests. Some of them, do they?
Yeah.
You can find hiking groups and stuff, and just go out with people for a hike these days. There's groups out there that you can go do that now. If you're worried about, how do you make friends as an adult?
I do see that as people comment that.
Yeah.
And I think, for a bloke especially, I think sport is the easiest way. Just fucking turn up at a football team. I do see it from the coach's perspective all the time, where you just get lads just show up. And, there's been instances where lads have joined paddock and become best friends, and I'm like, oh, did you two play together? And they were like, no. All right. How do you know each other? Through this. And you're like, you're inseparable. Kieran and Mikey were super best friends, but they only met at paddock. And you're like, and that's, there's so many of them, they go out on a piss together now, the lads, and you're like, them two don't play together on a Sunday, or just the dynamics are really interesting to observe. From I'm a little bit arm's reach out at being the coach, but it's really, really interesting watching how people make friends like that. I mean, I've taken Farky down to an urban reform. Ash wants to come to an urban reform, so I'm bringing friends to that. Joe's talking about coming to one as well. But I can see that. I absolutely can see how people would become friends by going to those classes and stuff like that together.
A lot of people won't take that first step though, even joining a hobby on your own. They'll never do it because they can't take a friend with them. They need that comfort blanket, don't they?
We've not spoke about what happened on my first session at Urban Reform, have we?
No.
But I need to wrap this up, so we'll save that for another day.
Aww.
Well, I've just seen the message on the screen, so we need to wrap it. Right, cheers for tuning in as always. See you in the next one.